Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the English class. Let's begin with our activities for today. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Spirit, and our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. As it is in heaven, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And the name of the Father, of the Son, and the Spirit. Amen. Valentina Arce tampoco cumplió con enviar su video. ¿Ok?
Profesor, yo se lo envié.
Vuélvemelo a enviar, mami, por favor. Reenvíamelo. Me retracto, perdón. Me lo ha enviado la estudiante. Reenvíamelo, por favor. Sí. Ok. Bien. A mi WhatsApp, hija, a mi WhatsApp me lo reenvías. Mira, en la plataforma les había comentado que el día de hoy y mañana vamos a trabajar una lectura de comprensión, ¿sí? Una lectura de comprensión. La historia del chocolate. Hoy haremos solo la primera parte. Haremos lectura y comprensión, ¿ok? Lectura y comprensión. Vamos con la lectura. A ver, mira, el texto tiene parrafitos un poco, ahí está, ya lo agrandé, para que podamos trabajar con bastante comodidad. Voy a llamarlos y voy a tomarles un oral, ¿correcto? Un oral. Voy a dividir el texto porque todos deben de leer, ¿correcto? Todos deben de leer. O como, si mejor pongo el corazón, ustedes ya saben. Ahí lee un estudiante, aquí lee otro estudiante, aquí lee otro estudiante, aquí lee otro estudiante. Creo que no, están muy chiquitos los párrafos. A ver, este estudiante lee hasta aquí y el otro hasta ahí. Mejor. Entonces voy a llamar a 1, 2, 3, 4 y 5 estudiantes para hacer la lectura. ¿Ok? César Daniel, hijo, te pregunté de tu video, ¿me estás escuchando?
Sí,
Levantando la
profesor.
mano. Necesito tu video hoy mismo, César. El
Está bien,
salón
profesor.
solo de tu video.
Está bien, profesor.
Hoy necesito tu video, César. Bien, vamos a comenzar. ¿Sí? Vamos a comenzar. César, Dana, Camila, Sergio y Mayra. En ese orden. César, Dana, Camila, Sergio y Dana.
The history of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms. We eat chocolate candy, and we drink hot and cold chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredient is cacao bean.
The story of cacao bean and its long journey to stores and supermarkets all over the world, starting hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao dried hot and with water, and originally grown in the Yucatan Peninsula.
The Maya were the first people to eat cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wild trees and cleared land to cultivate their own trees. They made a drink from cacao beans and exchanged the beans for other goods. They also used cacao beans for religious ceremonies. Mayan merchants traveled north and introduced cacao beans to Aztec people.
Soon, the cacao bean was part of the Aztec life. They used the drink as part of religious ceremonies and even as money. With 10 beans, you could buy a rabbit. With 100 beans, you could buy a slave, one of the Aztec gods.
The Aztecs could not grow cacao trees because of the dry climate. When the Aztecs conquered the Maya, they asked for cacao beans as a tribute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Siguiente grupo. Valentina Heredia, Ángela Verástegui, Luana Hermosa, Harris Pizarro y Nia Collins. En ese orden. Valentina Heredia, Ángela Verástegui, Luana Hermosa, Harris Pizarro y Nia Collins.
The history of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms. We eat chocolate candy and we drink hot and cold chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredient is cacao bean.
The story of cacao bean and its long journey to stores and supermarkets all over the world started hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao trees meet hot and humid weather, and they stood hundreds of years ago. No, original green grove in the Yucatan Peninsula.
The Maya were the first people to eat cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wheat trees and carried to land cultivated on trees. They made a train for cacao beans and exchanged the beans for the goods. They also used cacao beans for religious ceremonies. Mayan merchants traveled north and introduced cacao beans to the Aztec people.
Sunday cacao bean was part of the Aztec lives. They used it as a drink, as were part of religious ceremonies and even as money. With 10 bands, you could buy a rabbit. With 100 bands, you could buy a slave, one of the Aztec goods.
Nia Collins.
These could not wear cacao without forty rightly. When the head Coron Maya Cesar for cacao beans a tribute.
Ok. Último grupo. Último grupo. Nicolás Zapata. ¿Estás ahí, Nicolás?
Sí, profesor, perdón por entrar tarde, es que se me fue el internet.
Jared González. Valentina Arce. Y Paul Calderón. Los escucho.
Profesor, una pregunta. Como acabo de llegar, no sé qué están haciendo. Están leyendo, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Ya, ok.
Nicolás, creo que tú tienes que empezar con la lectura.
Ah, ok, gracias. The history of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms. We eat chocolate candy and we drink hot and cold chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredient is cacao bean. ¿Sí, teacher?
Ok, thank you. ¿Quién sigue? Valentina Arce.
The history for the cacao beans and its long journey to store and supermarkets all over the world stand under of the
years ago in Mexico. Cacao stream need to hot and humid weather, and the original grain in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, ¿quién sigue? Ok. A ver, dos estudiantes para ponerles su nota final de lectura que lean todo el texto.
No sé. Subo y bajo cada vez como lo.
Ok, César, ¿te escuchó?
Okay, teacher. The history of chocolate. One of most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms, with chocolate candy, and we drink hot and cold chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredient is cacao bean. The story of cacao bean and its long journey to stores and supermarkets all over the world started hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao trees need hot and humid weather, and they originally grew in the Yucatan Peninsula. The Maya were the first people to eat cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wild trees and cleared land to cultivate their own trees. They made a drink from cacao beans and exchanged the beans for other goods. They also used cacao beans for religious ceremonies. Mayan merchants traveled north and introduced cacao beans to the Aztec people. Soon the cacao bean was part of the Aztecs' lives. They used it as a drink, as part of religious ceremonies, and even as money. With 10 beans, you could buy a rabbit. With 100, you could buy a slave, one of Aztec good. The Aztecs could now grow cacao trees because of the dry climate. When the Aztecs conquered the Maya, they asked for the cacao beans as a tribute.
Ok. Sergio, te escucho.
The story of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms, with chocolate candy, and we drink hot and cold chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredient is cacao bean. The story of cacao bean and it's a long journey to stores and supermarkets all over the world. Started hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao trees need hot and humid weather, and they originally grew in Yucatan Peninsula. The Maya were the first people to eat cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wild trees and cleared the land to cultivate their own trees. They made a drink from cacao beans and exchanged the beans for other goods. They also used cacao beans for religious ceremonies. Maya marched north and introduced cacao beans to the Aztec people. Soon, the cacao bean was part of the Aztec life. They used it as a drink, as part of religious ceremonies, and even as money. With 10 beans, you could buy a rabbit. With 100 beans, you could buy a slave, one of the Aztec gods. The Aztecs could not grow cacao trees because of dry climate. When the Aztecs conquered the Maya, they asked for cacao beans as a tribute.
Muy bien, muy bien. Luana, Luana hermosa, te escucho, mami. Luana,
Dígame, profesor.
sí, te toca leer el texto para poner tu nota mensual, bimestral, perdón, de tu lectura.
Okay. The story of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms. We eat chocolate candy and we drink hot and cold chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredient is cacao bean. The story of cacao bean and its long generated with stories and supermarkets all over the world started hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao trees need hot and humid weather, and they originally grew in the Yucatan Peninsula. The Maya were the first people to eat cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wild trees and cleared land to cultivate their own trees. They made a drink from cacao beans and exchanged the beans for the other goods. They also used cacao beans for religious ceremonies. Maya merchants traveled north and introduced cacao beans to the Aztec people. So the cacao beans was part of the Aztec lives. They used it as a drink as part of the religious ceremonies and even as money. With 10 beans, you could buy a rabbit. With 100 beans, you could buy a slave, but the Aztec good. The Aztec could not grow cacao trees because of the drink climate. When the Aztec conquered the Maya, they asked for cacao beans as tribute.
Bien, gracias. Stefano,
¿Me escucha, profe?
sí, te escucho.
Sí, profe. The history of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of the time is chocolate. People know that it's chocolate in many different forms. We eat chocolate candy, and we drink hot and cold chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredients in cacao beans. The history of cacao bean and the long journey to stories the supermarket all over the world started hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao tree needs a hot humid water and they originally reached in Yucatan Peninsula. The Maya were the first people to eat cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wild trees and cleared land to cultivate their own trees. They made a drink from cacao beans and ate the beans for other gods. They also used cacao beans for religious ceremonies. Mayan merchants traveled north and introduced cacao beans to the Aztec people. Soon the cacao bean was part of the Aztec life. They used it as drinks, as part religious ceremonies, and even as money. With 10 beans, we could buy a rabbit. With beans, you could buy a laugh, one of the Aztec god. The Aztec could not grow cacao trees because of the dry climate. When the Aztec conquered the Maya, they asked for cacao beans and tribute.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dana Cárdenas.
Okay, teacher. The story of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms. We eat chocolate candy and we drink hot and cold chocolate. Drink the chocolate we eat day is made from a lot of different ingredients, but the most important ingredients is cacao bean. The story of cacao bean in this long journey, the stores and supermarkets all over the world started hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao trees need hot humid yet were they originally grew in Yucatan Peninsula. The Maya were the first people the cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wild trees and cleared land they cultivated the year of dress. They made a drink from cacao beans and exchanged the beans for other goods. They also use cacao bean for the sugar, Mayan virtues. There's not introducing cacao beans. The Aztec people saw the cacao beans was part of the Aztec lives. The using is drank as part of religious ceremonies. And even with 10 beans, you could rabbit with 100 beans. You could buy left on the Aztec good. The Aztecs could not grow cacao just because of the dry climate. The Aztecs conquered the Maya. The asked for cacao wins as attributed.
Muy bien,
Gracias.
muy bien, muy bien. Valentín Heredia. Se fue Valentina. Ángela.
Okay, teacher. The story of chocolate. The Axis made a special drink from cacao beans. They mixed cacao with vanilla, black pepper, and honey. Then they poured the drink from hands so it had foam. The drink wasn't very sweet, and this acid colored in cacao or winter weather. Only the kings and the nobles drank cacao. Some people say that the ancient king Moctezuma II drank 50 cups of cacao a day. When Hermas Cortes came to Mexico, Moctezuma gave him a golden cup full of this precious drink. Hernán Cortes took the chest of cacao beans black to Spain with him and um, mm,
Okay, thank you. Harris.
The history of chocolate. One of the most popular foods of all time is chocolate. People nowadays eat chocolate in many different forms. We eat chocolate candy, and we drink hot and cold and cool chocolate drinks. The chocolate we eat today is from an offering of different ingredients, but the most important ingredient is cacao bean. The history of cacao bean it it is long journey to store and supermarkets all over the world. It started hundreds of years ago in Mexico. Cacao trees need hot and humid water, and they originally grew in Yucatan Peninsula. The Maya were the fifth people to eat cacao beans. They picked cacao beans from wild stress and carried land of to cultivate their one trends. They made a drink from cacao beans and exchange the beans for other goods. They also used cacao beans of religious ceremonies. Mayan merchants traveled north and introduced cacao beans to the Aztec people. So the cacao bean was part of the Aztec life. They used it as a drink, as part of religious ceremonies, and even as money. With 10 bands, you could buy a rabbit. With 100 bands, you could buy a slab on one of the Aztec good. The Aztec good now grow cacao tree because of the dry climate. When the Aztec conquered the Maya, they asked for cacao beans as tribute.
Muy bien, ¿eh? Muy bien, chicos. Muy bien, ¿eh? Me gusta su lectura. Pero aquí hay una pregunta más grande. ¿Entendemos lo que estamos leyendo? A ver, activen sus micros. Coméntame de qué
Profesor,
trata esa historia. A ver, cuenta, levántame la mano, levanta la mano, levanta la mano. Claro, porque leer, en realidad leer ya es un gran trabajo y leen muy bien, pronuncian, inclusive yo me sonrío porque copian, ¿no? Mi pronunciación, chocolate, dicen chocolate. Y bien, no se dice chocolate, se dice chocolate. Muy bien. Pero, ¿qué significa eso? Cuéntame, Harris, Camila, Nicolás, en ese orden, cuéntenme.
Por eso yo lo que entendí fue que la historia del chocolate, específicamente el cacao, proviene de México, en Yucatán, y se usaba para algunas ceremonias que originalmente fueron de los mayas, y los aztecas le pidieron como un tributo a los mayas, cuando lo conquistaron, creo, que le pidieron el cacao, y antes también le pidieron cacao.
Okay, thank you, Harris. Camila.
Teacher, acá al principio de la historia nos habla de las cosas que podemos hacer el chocolate, que tiene diferentes ingredientes, pero el que más se usa es el cacao. Y dice que, o sea, el cacao, los árboles de cacao no crecían en el lugar donde estaban los aztecas, ¿no? Y cuando ellos lo conquistaron, le pidieron como tributo eso, porque allá en ese lugar, como el clima era seco, no permitía que crecieran árboles de cacao.
Ok, genial. Nicolás.
profesor, nos está diciendo que, por ejemplo, el chocolate es una de las comidas, bueno, o sea, de los dulces más populares actualmente y de que uno de sus ingredientes más importantes es el cacao. Y nos cuenta sobre la historia del cacao, donde se encontró en México, originalmente en Yucatán Península, y los mayos fueron los primeros en comer el cacao. Y bueno, los aztecas, cuando conquistaron a los mayas, le pidieron como atributo el cacao porque como su clima era demasiado seco, no podían cosechar cacao, y también se usaba como dinero.
Ok, comprendo, sí, no te preocupes. Sergio.
El cacao en un principio, la semillita de cacao se encontró en un principio en la península de Yucatán. Los mayas primero llegaron a ese sitio y empezaron a usarla. Luego unos comerciantes de mayas le ofrecían eso a los aztecas y la empezaron a usar en sus vidas como forma de pago, parte de sus ceremonias religiosas y hasta incluso como bebida. Y cuando los aztecas conquistaron a los mayas, les pidieron semillas de cacao como un tributo debido a que su clima era demasiado seco.
Yeah. E incluso 10 granos de cacao podías comprar un conejo. Con 100 granos de cacao podías comprar a un esclavo. ¡Wow! Bueno, chicos, vamos a nuestro break y volvemos. Estuvo bueno el trabajo del día de hoy. Me encantó, ¿eh? No me gustó, me encantó. Volvemos.